Hey everybody, my name's Ryan, and here at eTrailer we install, test fit, and review a lot of different parts. That way we could try to answer any questions those of you might have. And that's exactly what we're doing here today on our 2020 Toyota Sienna. We're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 3 trailer hitch receiver. So these Siennas are really capable vehicles. I know personally I see them going down the road doing a little bit of everything, whether it be towing or using accessories like a cargo carrier or bike rack. So if it were me, I'd want a hitch that can handle pretty much anything you want to throw at it. And that's exactly what this CURT is going to be able to do. Now I will say, compared to some of the other hitches available, this one is going to be a little more visible. You are going to see the cross tube that comes from one side to the other. However, it does sit further back, so it does a pretty good job of blending in. Now I will say, since the hitch does hang down and the Sienna vans ride relatively low to the ground, you want to keep in the back of your head ground clearance. Will this affect everyday normal driving? Probably not. Probably not going to have any issues there. But if you have a really steep driveway or something like that, it's just something you want to think about. So with this being a Class 3 hitch, it is going to have that 2" by 2" receiver tube opening. That is a super common size, and a ton of different accessories will work with it. It's going to have a reinforced collar for extra strength. It's also going to have that standard 5/8 pen hole. Now keep in mind, a pen and clip does not come included, but if you need one, you can find it here at eTrailer. We're going to have plate style safety chain openings, which the openings aren't huge, but they should give us enough room to use just about any size hook that we might have. Now, as far as the hitch's weight capacities go, it's going to have some pretty good numbers. As far as the maximum gross tongue weight rating, it's going to be 350 pounds. So that's going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down on the hitch. So that's good for those 1 to 4 bike racks, for example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to be 3,500 pounds. And that's going to be the amount of weight that's pulling on the hitch. So that is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. Now, I do always want to recommend, never a bad idea just to grab your Sienna's owner's manual. That way you can make sure your Toyota can pull that much weight safely. This hitch can also be used with a weight distribution system. And that is a separate component. And what that's going to do is, whenever you're pulling your trailer, it's going to keep everything nice and level. So when you are using that, the weight capacities do increase a little bit. Maximum gross tongue weight rating goes up to 500 pounds, and the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes up to 5,000 pounds. Now I'm going to give you a couple of measurements, and you can use these to help figure out which hitch-mounted accessories to get. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 12 inches. So if you do plan on doing some towing, chances are pretty good you're going to need to get a ball mount with a rise. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper, that's going to be about 5 inches. And you can use that measurement to help figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in that upright position without contacting the bumper. So at the end of the day, a hitch you really can't go wrong with. It's really well constructed, made right here in the USA, and it's going to get the job done. Now, as far as the installation goes, it's really not too bad. You do have to clean out some weld nuts that are in the frame, but more or less the hitch just bolts right up, so shouldn't really give you any issues. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and do that together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be working here underneath the back of our Sienna, and the first thing that we need to do is remove this underbody panel. Now, chances are good, yours is probably going to look a little bit different. Our customer had already chosen to trim their underbody panel out, but no big deal. It still attaches the same way and everything else. I just wanted to mention that. So this is going to be held in place with 3 different types of fasteners. And the first ones that we're going to take out are these push pin style ones here. So there's going to be a handful of them, ones with the white heads. What you're going to do is take a flathead screwdriver, I'm going to pry underneath it. And if the head pops out without the base, no big deal. You can just kind of pry underneath the base of it as well. So I'll go ahead and do that to get the rest of these removed. Then we can move to the very outside edge right here. We're going to have a total of 5 screws that we need to remove. So I'll take a 10mm socket and pull those out. Then we're going to have a total of 4 fasteners just like this. Now the way to get those out, you can take a large screwdriver and just rotate it. These actually aren't going to come completely out. They'll stay with the underbody panel. But if the underbody panel doesn't want to drop down, sometimes you kind of have to put some downward pressure on it while you're spinning it. So one on each side here. And 2 in the center. Now these are the lastings holding the panel up, so definitely want to kind of support it with your hand, that way it doesn't fall on you. Once we have it released, we can just set it off to the side. Now on the bottom of our frame rail, we're going to have some stickers that we need to remove. So we're going to have 3 of them. This one here, and this one here. This plug you can actually leave in so you don't have to worry about it. But as I said, these are just stickers, so you can kind of take a flathead screwdriver, pry underneath them, and get them removed. I do want to mention, from this point on, anything we do to the side of our vehicle, we're also going to repeat on the other side, so we set up the same way. Now we can lower our exhaust down a little bit to give us some extra room to work. Before we do that, what I'm going to do is take a strap and just run it from side to side. That way the exhaust will have a little bit of support. So we're going to have 1 rubber exhaust isolator hanger that we're going to need to take off here on the passenger side. It's right here. What you want to do is spray it down with some soapy water or penetrating oil. It makes it a little bit easier. Then you can take a pry bar and just work one end of that hanger off of our exhaust. So now let's go ahead and go over our attachment points. It'll be the same on each side. There's going to be a total of 3. This one here, here, and here. These are threaded weld nuts, so I do suggest taking a toothbrush and kind of cleaning out any dirt or debris that may have gotten trapped inside. And as far as the hardware that we're going to use to secure the hitch, it's going to be the same for all those attachment points. We're going to have a hex bolt and a conical tooth washer, and make sure the teeth on the washer are going to face up towards the hitch. So when we're holding the hitch up, we're going to take our hardware, and the bolts are simply just going to thread right into those factory weld nuts. Now at this point, you would need to trim your underbody panel. Now ours is already cut, and I want to mention this area here is the portion that you need to cut out. This larger section here, the customer did that themselves, and that's how they wanted it. So with that being said, you really only need to focus on this area. There's a diagram in the instructions that tell you exactly where you need to cut. And how you would do that is really simple. This is pretty thin plastic, so you don't need any crazy tools or anything like that. I like to use a pair of 10 snips. You can also use a regular pair of snips, or I've also had luck just using a sharp utility knife to get that area trimmed out. So once you have your underbody panel trimmed out, you can reinstall it the opposite way that you removed it. Now with an extra set of hands, you can take our hitch and raise it into position. You want to go over the tailpipe. And then we can line up our hitch with the attachment points in the frame rail. Then we can go ahead and get at least one bolt started on each side, hand tight. That way the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of the hardware. So now that we have all of our hardware in place and hand tight, we can take a 19mm socket and snug it all down. So once all of our hardware is snugged up, we can come back with a torque wrench and tighten it all down to the amount specified in our instructions. Now what we can do is rehang our exhaust. So I'm going to spray it down with some soapy water or penetrating oil again. And this time I'm just going to use my hand. So I'll kind of push back on the hanger and pop it back into position. And now that our exhaust is resecured, we can go ahead and remove our strut. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the CURT Class 3 trailer hitch receiver on our 2020 Toyota Sienna.